Hello. Thanks for calling. I feel as if I have to apologise today to everyone. I'll just take the blame for everything. If I've contacted you and maybe it's a bit premature, but I meant well. I didn't mean any harm. I truly didn't. So if there's any hurt, I ask you to forgive us, really. Do you want an answer from me? I can't give you an answer. Why? You don't really know my situation. You really don't. I've been put in positions that are so hard to deal with. That I should never have approached. I can't turn the clock back and undo what I've done. I just can't do it. I withdraw after the event because out of love. It's not right for me to approach anyone unless I'm in a position to pursue that. So, please forgive us. I'm still not in a position to do anything. I could go into a lot of detail of what's happened. I will, a little bit. Remember Thomas. He asked, unless I did the nails and the side, I will not believe. Was that a bad thing? No. You have to make sure of all things. All things. Do not be fooled. There are many who come in the name of Yeshua. It takes great discernment to work out, is this the true Mashiach? I don't know if you've ever looked for antiques or... There's hallmarks that prove that something is genuine. Yeshua will have the hallmarks. I have marks on my body, much similar to Yeshua. It's true. I have a scar here. Yeshua was pierced in the lungs so that the air would flow out and couldn't breathe. It was a law that was set in motion so that they could pronounce the person truly, truly dead. And that's what happened to Yeshua. Believe it or not, I have a scar. Not off that. I was in hospital with COVID-19. COVID-19. And the things I had to go through in those hospitals, 4 hospitals, go from one to the other, to the other, to the other. I was in Sunderland Hospital and I saw exactly what the hospitals were like. It was so shocking. The food that they offered me when they pierced my lungs, they put a drip in to get rid of all the fluid. My lungs was, one side of my lung was full, absolutely full. And they had to drain it out. They were taking blood off me, blood, just about every single day. And on top of that, the food was so atrocious. I said to them, I can't eat this shit. How am I supposed to get better when you're feeding me this shit? So I stopped eating the shit that they gave us. I got up to the manager and I said to the manager who was in charge of all the food, have you tasted this food? Taste this and see what it's like. Oh, we don't do that. Why not? There's nothing, no nutrition, nothing in this. This is shocking to give me food like this. This is Sunderland Hospital. And I lost so much weight because I couldn't eat what they were giving me. I could eat some of it, but I forced it down because I knew I was losing so much weight. And they were taking blood off me. Big amounts of blood. So I was complaining so much. There was an occasion when this man, they were trying to stop him from leaving the hospital. They said, oh, he looks like you. He had long hair. I says, no one looks like me. Anyway, I saw him in the corridor, trying to get out. And this male nurse, Chinese male nurse, was pulling him, physically pulling him back. So I got out of bed and I went up and I stood there. And all the nurses started coming round. And I said, you better treat this man correctly. I'm a witness. And he said to me, he says, can you help me? He says, I've got to get out. They're doing this to us, they're doing that to us. They're frying us. They're giving us so many scans. I'm getting affected. I said, look, I can't do anything about this. I says, what I will do is I will stand here and I will make sure that they do the right thing. I says, and you, to this male nurse, I says, you are bordering on abuse, holding that man back physically, stopping him getting out. He says, I can't allow this man to get out. He's ill. And this young man says, I'm ill because of what yous are doing to me. So I stood there and I watched him. And then he dispersed and went back. And then I went back into the bed after the commotion had stopped. This is in Sunderland Hospital. And I've lost loads of weight because of the food that they were feeding me. Shocking food. I was deemed a troublemaker. They wanted to get rid of me. Get him out of this hospital. So after that event, he actually did get out. I had to let him out. He signed himself out. But they still were trying to stop him going out. Saying, you were going to die. You were going to die if you go out of here. And he was saying, I'll die if I kept keeping it here. What you do to me, you're frying me. And I felt so sorry for the lad. So, a specialist doctor came to me and said, we're going to transfer you. You need a small operation, a very small operation to sort your lungs out. And you're going to go to the main hospital in Newcastle, the Freeman's Hospital. So, I was so weak, but I was determined to walk into the ambulance and I got transferred there. I could hardly lift my legs up. I'd become so weak. I'm telling you this story before I get into this. So I don't know how long this is going to take. I went to the Freeman's Hospital and the doctor, one of the heart surgeons, came to me and said, we've had x-rays of you and your lungs are stuck to your chest. The membrane has been seized onto it. So we have to release it. I said, do you really have to do that? He said, well, I would advise you to do it because you could have great problems. I says, okay. I says, what does it entail? Just made like a keyhole surgery, because as I was told in Sunderland. And he said to us, no. He says, it's a major operation, Mr. Wiseman. I says, a major operation. I says, I've come here and I allowed myself to come here because I thought it was only going to be made keyhole surgery. I says, that's what they said there. Oh no, whoever's told you that is wrong. I says, you're joking. And then he told us the procedure, what was going to happen. He says they'll have to remove one of your ribs and it'll be a long surgery. I says, alright. He gives two options. One was to take a lot of blood from us, and I'd already been drained of a lot of blood. You drain a person of blood and he has to go to an operation. How foolish these people are. I thought, are you trying to kill me? Now, whether I needed that surgery or not, I don't think I did. And I'll tell you why. Have you ever taken your car for a test, the annual test? And by the time they're finished, it's going to cost you a fortune. Because they say this is wrong, this is wrong, this is wrong, this is wrong, this is wrong. And if you're not a mechanic, you go to yourself, oh yeah, okay. How much is it? And you get to know the price. Oh my. And these garages are well known, some of them, for doing jobs that are not necessary. Not necessary. Why? Money. I found out that the hospitals are no different. They'll say you need something when you really don't need it. When you really don't need it. So was I conned into something that I didn't really need? They know. How much can I make out of this? How much? And the doctors are very clever with words. They come up with all these words that you're not familiar with. It's the way they're trained. So I got this major operation. I went into this operating theatre thinking, Father, I'm not bothered if I come back or not. Let me go back to home. Let me come back to you, Father. I was hoping that I wouldn't have to go through any more, because I've been through so much. Before this operation, before this COVID, my mother had died, and there's a big massive scene at the death of my mother. That's another story on its own. There's so many police in the area, all taped off. A murder mistake. I said, what's this all about? I was going to see Mother and she died. This is a murder scene. I said, a murder scene. I can't go into the details. But I went through a horrific time. All recorded. It was all recorded. There were so many police vans, so forth. And the high-ranking police guy with a 5-star badge, I had an altercation with him. There was a video in my mother's house. I'd set it up because there was things happening with my mother, with the doctors and so forth, convincing her to have injections and so forth. I told my mother, do not take this injection. She ended up dying. Go back to this hospital, the Freeman's Hospital. The food was so good, incredible. I came out of the operating theatre. I heard a voice. Joseph. It was a nurse. I opened my eyes and I thought, oh, I'm still here. I'm still here, Father. Why? Why? I wanted to go back home. I said to myself, right, there must be a reason. I've got more to do. More to do. So in this hospital, I was transferred to another hospital in Durham. Because I needed to be, I said I need my family to visit me. But it was all locked up. Everything was locked up. Nobody was able to visit me. I had no business. So here I am in Durham, and I'm going through an even worse situation. Nurses playing tricks on me with drips. Chinese nurse. I was desperate to go to the toilet, and I'm tied up on this with the tubes and the drips. It wasn't blood. It wasn't blood. I think it was whatever it was. And I said, how long is it going to take? I says, because I need to go to the toilet. She says, oh, it'll only take 20 minutes. It took 2 hours. Eventually I said to this nurse, I says, why is this taking so long? I says, I've been desperate to go to the toilet. She says, well, you could have that bottle. I says, I don't want the bottle. I says, I'm capable of going to the toilet. She says, well, let's have a look. And she looked. She says, oh, there's a thing here where you turn it. She says, and it controls the drip. I says, I thought, right, this nurse has played a trick on me. Because I had altercations with her as well. This Chinese nurse. Now, I had a Chinese nurse in Sunderland who was so good. So good. I used to look forward to her coming in. And she was, as soon as she came on duty, she would come straight to say, hello, Joseph. So, how are you? And she treated me like she was an angel. But this is the Chinese one. She was wicked. She was wicked to me. So, I'm in this hospital in Durham. I'm dropped down to below 7 stone. I'm trying to build myself up. But I can't, because they're still taking large amounts of blood off me. So I said to the main doctor, I says, I'm refusing you taking any more blood off me. I was saying to myself, if you take any more blood off me, I will die. I'm down, I'm below 7 stone now. From 14 stone down to 7 stone. Below 7 stone. I'm trying to build myself up. And I thought, these are just vampires. I says, excuse me. I says, what are you doing with all this blood? Every other day you're taking blood off me. Large amounts of blood. I says, what are you doing with it all? Oh, it's for this, for this, for this, for this. Lies. Lies. Upon lies. So the next day, this main doctor came and said, we're transferring you. I says, this is the 3rd hospital I've been in now. Well, you're going to go to another hospital. I says, okay. So, I went to this other hospital. I need to go on, Father. I'll finish with by saying this hospital. The people I had to put up with in the wards were so disrespectful to the nurses. I stood up for the nurses. And I used to say, why are you doing this to the nurses? There was one man, he was just shitting in the beds. And he was capable of going to the toilet. I said, you dirty fucker. I says, you're just doing it deliberately. Wouldn't answer. He went. And another one. He was forcing himself out of the bed, falling over, out, pressed the bell. He's come out of his bed again. He was playing a game. I says, and I went up to him. I says, you're doing this deliberately. I says, stop it. He was a bit cuckoo. I thought, these nurses are getting treated like shit. And I defended the nurses. I really defended the nurses. I shouted at the top of my voice, because he was keeping, nurse, 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 pressing the button. It was driving me crazy. So I just started ignoring him after a while. He fell out of the bed this time, and I thought, I'm not going to press the bell anymore for you. And he was on the floor, crying. She went on for an hour. The bell, bzz, bzz, bzz. And the nurses were just ignoring him. Then the main doctor, she came in, and she was so good, this doctor, this female doctor. She was so good. I says, hey, sweetheart, I'm so sorry that you had to put up with all this. She says, it's my job. I says, I'm sick of these in here. Absolutely sick. Within a week, I was put in a ward, in a isolated place, on my own, for the last 3 weeks, with peace. And I got so much treatment, of personal treatment. I thought, my. But I refused the blood there. They still came. And I said, this is the last time. I had a nerve to keep coming. I said, you're trying to kill me. I says, if you take any more blood off me, I will dry up and die. I says, no more. I says, go back to your superiors and see you're not getting any more blood from me. Do not do it. I got out of hospital. And I came into this place here. It was a miracle that I got this place. The heat was on, everything was there, furnished out. Everything was beautiful. And I started to recover. But at the same time, there was nurses who come with their masks on because everybody was locked up. I still had a bag on us. And I had it on so long. I kept phoning up, I says, I need this out, I need this off. I felt as if I was trapped. I could not remove it. If I'd removed it by myself, the air would have just come out, because it had a special stitch that I had to do it in the hospital. Otherwise, all my lungs would have collapsed and I would have just like that, and all the air comes out, you can't breathe. Because as you do breathe, it's just a hole there. I waited and waited so long, months and months and months. And in the end I said, right. I phoned up, I says, I'm coming in. I says, I'm coming in whether you like it or not. I says, you better get me in. I says, and I was so forceful. I was so forceful. And I went in to the Newcastle hospital. And I met the nurse who was so nice to us. I says, can you remember me? She said, oh yes, I remember you, alright. She says, you're looking a lot better. I says, I am. I says, I'm starting to recover. So I have a scar here. I've got two actually.